What's up, guys? Welcome to Member Spotlight presented by Rising Coaches, the largest coaching tree in basketball. For just $8 a month using the code May 2023, you can become a member of Rising Coaches for more relationships, development, and opportunities. Make sure you head over to risingcoaches.com to check out all the great things they have to offer and to register. I'm your host tonight for Member Spotlight, Brandt Danals. Our guest today is Chase Crawford. Chase, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, Brandt. How you doing?
I'm doing awesome, man. We're really happy to have you on here, get to highlight some of the great things that you've done in your career and get to know a little bit about your story. So let's kind of start right there, man. Tell us one where you're at now and kind of your path through the business and how you got there.
All right. Well, I just finished up a good first year at Kingsridge Christian School in Alpharetta, Georgia, where I've been an assistant coach. I spent 5 years in undergrad as a student manager for the UGA men's basketball team. And then I spent some time for 4 months at Georgia State as a grad assistant. And then I've been here working with Kingsridge for the past, how many months was it? I guess 6 months. It was a great experience in our first season. Hey, Brent, you're on mute.
Perfect. Sorry, technical difficulties, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh, First time here. You started as a manager at Georgia. How'd you land that job?
So I had it's funny, it's like I go back to high school and I knew I wanted to be a basketball coach. And ironically, I had a lot of friends who were on the football team, and the football coach asked me if I wanted to be a student manager for their team. And I was like, I don't like getting hit in football like that. I love watching it, but I don't like getting hit like that. So I actually went and I worked for him and a year as a football manager. And I went to schools, toured for college back my junior year, senior year. And when it came down to, wanting to go to school, a specific place, at the time I had enrolled at the University of Georgia, I had sent emails prior to,
Yep.
enrolling in school. And it just so happened that the director of operations for men's basketball at the time actually played for the high school football coach when he was in JV and freshman in high school,
That's
and the connection was just there, and he was able to speak on my hard work. And you never know who you may run into and what it may ultimately pay off. So that's why you got to do a good job, or give your fullest everywhere you go.
That's awesome. That's really crazy. I think some people don't understand, the opportunities that exist as a manager coming in out of high school, even to be able to get that opportunity. What were some of your biggest takeaways as a manager? Three things that you kind of took with you to your next spot.
Hmm. I would say first is you got to be a sponge and really just take advantage of every opportunity that you're given and you have a chance to learn from. I was fortunate to get to be around three different head coaches at Georgia. Tom Crean for the majority of my time, Mark Fox my freshman year, and then Coach Mike White my last 3 months there. And just getting to see how different people operate, how different people run their offices, how different people, have practice structures and schedules, and just figuring out like, hey, these are great opportunities to learn from different minds and just figure out what you want to be able to contribute at the next spot where you're at and what you can learn and build on for your own, your future.
No doubt. So, how, walk me through it a little bit as a manager at the Power Five level. I've never been at that level. I know a lot of people haven't, but a lot of people have aspirations to get there. What's kind of the day of the life in a manager at Georgia like?
I would say I think it really just depends on, the coach you work for. I think that's anywhere where it is because, different coaches have different responsibilities for their managers and what they want them to do. I would say I was very fortunate to get the opportunity to spend a lot of time like learning sports code and really diving into that, having the opportunity to live code all of our games and practices and just really like build on those skills, but also have a chance to run with some other things. Like my sophomore year, I spent my days as a manager in practice, rebounding, doing laundry, all of those things. But then came game time, I actually got to sit on like the baseline and film as a videographer, which was pretty cool because that was one of my passions early on in my college career and things I had interest in, but as well getting a chance to, just incorporate some of my like digital content and creative like interests that I had. So that was cool to build on that. And then as well, just getting a chance to further add like my academic interests as well. So I really think it's like when you get a chance to learn from different people, figure out what it is that they need and what it is that you can contribute. Because of course, as a student manager, our responsibilities were, rebounding, running around, like any coaches' needs that they had, whether that's food runs or helping. uh, take tickets over to the will call for games that they may have for specific guests, or just really just helping their families get to where they need to be, or just really just trying to aid these coaches any way you can, and just really like help the program as a whole. But of course, you want to like add more to that. You want to say, where can I contribute in areas that like our coaches may not be looking at specifically, or that you may have some interest that you can provide. Like for example, for me, I was a math major, and like that's it's something that I wanted to add. Like, how can we look into analytics? How can we build in that, and just try to contribute in ways and provide new insights. And that's what I say for any managers. Like, if you have something that you're interested in and your coach is willing to let you expand on it and run with it, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, this definitely the sky is the limit, and you obviously killed it there. You were able to parlay your manager spot into a graduate assistant spot at Georgia State. How did that kind of come to fruition, and what did you enjoy about your time there?
I would say the biggest thing there is just really you figuring out what you've like learned in your previous experiences and what value you can contribute to add. Like, I would say for that, really getting a chance to build on some of the Photoshop things that I had learned and continue to expand there and help with recruiting graphics and things like that was really important. And just, you want to add value. That value is so important wherever you can build on and wherever you can help a program succeed, no matter how long it is. That's important, and just continuing to build in those, and as well getting to be around new people and new experiences. Having been in Georgia for 5 years, you get to a different city, different environment. Like, I'm from 25 minutes north of Atlanta, but it's like the suburbs and the city are two different things. And just getting to be in different environments, I think, is good for anyone, because you get to grow as a person, and and learn how to build and how to adapt to change.
I love that. I love that. So let's switch gears a little bit. Talk about this year. You guys obviously had a really successful season, won a state championship in Georgia. Um, what are a couple things? Everybody in coaching does things a little different, but what do you attribute to the success that you guys had this year, winning a state title in your first year on staff?
I would say, the teamwork and discipline was something that was remarkable. And I think our Coach Bob Martin, this past year did a tremendous job. He established, starting from year one, where team only had 4 wins, to then making the state championship back to back years. But just establishing this level of discipline across the board, where I couldn't tell who was a freshman and who was a senior, in terms of how locked in these guys were to, whether it's, you know, echoing the stretches, everybody's on beat, every person captain calls it out, everybody echoes it. It's like one unit. There is no drop off, and just continuing to be locked into making sure that when it's time the practice ends, everybody puts their practice jerseys where they're supposed to be. Somebody's in charge of the laundry. Make sure those go in the wash. Like, it's a well-oiled machine. And it's not just what you do on the court, it's what you do off the court. And you see that championship level mentality all over the place. And I thought that was something that was truly remarkable to be a part of.
For sure. I think people oftentimes, make the mistake of thinking that coaching is drastically different across levels. What are some, I think that's wrong. So, what are some similarities that you've seen in the coaches that you've worked with at the different levels, and, just things that you've taken with you that you'll move into your next spot when you get your opportunity to lead the team?
Well, I would say one of the biggest things, especially this past year, was just seeing how technically sound these guys are, and how committed they were to improving their craft every single day. Like at Kingsridge, we did not use ball screens at all, but these guys were so sound in setting flare screens, down screens, cross screens, and just getting each other open and playing for each other. The ball travels faster when you pass it and when you're trying to dribble it up the court. And these guys understood that. And as well, being able to get each other open for shots and really hit threes at a high rate just made it, more successful, because, we won a state championship with, it wasn't a bunch of 5 stars like on the same page, but it was guys, college level guys, who were committed to playing for each other and winning as a team. And then, to be able to put together a string of 5 straight games with very few mistakes. Like,
Yeah.
the turnover rates just dropped tremendously. And that was really great to see because these guys were so focused. When you've got four seniors in your starting lineup and they're all locked into the point where they realize, there's no tomorrow in
Yep,
this run. Like if we lose, this is it. There's no, we're gonna pick it up the next day in practice and being that laser focused, as well as having everyone else across the board from our head coach to our manager
for
locked
sure.
in. Like that is what makes a team really great.
So you come from a high school team, no ball screens, and now you're helping with a highly successful AAU team. Do you carry a lot of that stuff into stuff with that, or are you guys doing different stuff in that arena?
Well, I say the system changes, ball screens, whether you choose to use ball screens or not, can vary because of course, they're successful coaches that use ball screens without a doubt. It's just a matter of, at the end of the day, really trying to relay the discipline.
Yep,
Discipline is what's really important, and really just, having a group of guys that love the game of basketball, having a group of guys that, want to play for each other and want to see each other succeed just as much as they want to see themselves succeed. And those are the things that, we emphasize every single day.
for sure. So you touched on it a little bit earlier with graphics and the things that you've done in that arena, but I think it's becoming more and more prevalent with young coaches, especially to find different ways to kind of bolster your resume. And you've done graphics at a high level, pretty much everywhere you've been. Is that something um, that you just picked up along the way? Did you teach yourself, or how did you come to one? Become so talented at it, and two, how do you utilize it in your coaching journey?
Well, the whole digital content thing kind of started back when I think I was a junior, and I would watch these ESPN promos. I love video editing. I watch these ESPN promos of different events, and I'm like, man, I want to learn how to create stuff like that. I thought that was really cool. So I actually taught myself how to video edit, starting on Viva Video, and then you move over to Wondershare for more, and then you finally get to the Adobe system, and then try to understand that. So the video stuff was something that kind of I self-taught over time. But in regards to the Photoshop, I always give credit where credit is due. It's a great opportunity when you get a chance to run across great people. And one person I always am very thankful to run across is Brandon Anthony. He's one of my favorite people ever. I met him while I was working at Hoop Scene during my freshman and sophomore years in the springs and summers over there. And really being able to pour into me and learn from him and understand, the things that it takes to be great at graphic design. And I really don't personally feel like I'm nowhere close to him. He's a great graphic designer, but like we have this like group chat of me, him, and some other graphic designers, and just getting a chance to bounce ideas off each other. I think is something that's been really important because it's the iron sharpening iron. And I would say from this past year, getting a chance to really like do all this graphic design from our game day graphics, final scores, birthdays. We did bobbleheads for all of our players to get to know the players. We had a couple game recaps here and there with high quality video, and then player mixtapes to end the season. Not to mention our one shining moment video for a state championship. So one thing there was like I just wanted to create an experience for these guys that a lot of kids, especially in high school, don't get to have, and something that they'll cherish forever. And there's no better time to do that. It all worked out to being a state championship season that they have documented to have forever.
I love that. It's about making the big time where you are. And I got to get in your guys' group chat. I do a lot of graphic design myself, so I would love to hop in that and
Hey, just let
hear
me know.
what's
We've
going
got
on.
some great guys in there, and they're just guys that are, they're hungry and they really have a desire. Same thing. It's like having a desire to see each other get better. Like we are as critical of our own stuff as we are of each other's stuff because that's the only way you get better and you improve because we want to see each other succeed where we are at.
I love that. I love that. So you're a math major. So analytics, obviously, you touched on being huge to you. You actually had an opportunity to be a part of the first ever MBA analytic program where guys got an opportunity to kind of dive into that and learn. And you've done some other stuff with the MBA. So tell me just a little bit about that and kind of how you use analytics in coaching with the programs you've been with.
I'd say that well, so the NBA Future Analytics Stars program for me was something that was big because it touches into what I feel like connecting with everyone does. And when you get to sit and listen to a lot of different executives, that are in analytics in the NBA, not just in like the finance side, the social media, the marketing side, but as well as the team side, and really understanding how important that set of transferable skills is to all facets of the game. Like if I look at this past year, I paid attention heavily to the analytics, our social media analytics, to see how the brand of Kingsbridge basketball was built from start to finish, from when I took over the account in October to where after the state championship, we were fortunate to generate over 730 something thousand impressions and increase our following by 40%. And really, getting the name of this team out there that has a solid brand of basketball behind it. Because one thing Brandon would tell me, he said the most important content you have for your team is winning. So when you've got a group of guys that are winning, the social media aspect of it really is just like this is the finished product that the winning brings over, that people take notice of, and then putting all of that high quality stuff together on the court and off the court. So being able to assess those types of analytics on the social media side, but more so on the team side, really getting a chance to look at player tendencies and understanding where guys fit in playbooks, specifically in their positions. Because if you've got a certain play that really focuses more so on the left side versus the right side, you need to figure out who your strong side left guys are, whether it's using a ball screen, whether they're using the screen, rejecting the screen, really understanding where you need to place them so that we can maximize their offensive efficiency. But then you flip it and you look at opponents and you say, where can we minimize them? So it's like really understanding both, as well as for like self-scout for player development, because you want to see guys improve and get better in certain skills.
I love that, man. That's really big time stuff. And just having the opportunity to be a part of, the first ever Future Stars analytic program in the NBA, that in and of itself, getting picked to do that is really, really big time. So
I'd say the funny thing for me, when I put it all together is like when you get to listen to so many different people with so many different experiences, like nobody's going to encounter the exact same thing, like exactly the same. Everybody's got their own like tweak or variation to a certain circumstance, but it's like, what can you learn from these people so that you can have similar success or avoid certain mistakes that they make? And that's just like being a sponge, because nobody's perfect. We've all had our ups and downs to say, hey, if I were to do this again, don't do it this way, do it this way. Or one thing I had a lot of success in, I went in this direction. So you adhere to those things and you can really you try to prepare like future generations to not make the same mistakes, be more successful. So anybody you can help to encourage that, like that's why I love, getting a chance to learn from different people.
For sure, for sure. So we've heard your story. I want to jump gears a little bit to something I think will be kind of fun with my own little tweak here on Member Spotlight. I'm going to do a speed round. So I'm going to pop off 10 quick questions. Just first thing that comes to your mind, just answer the question as quick as you can, and we'll roll right to the next one. All right?
Sounds good.
All right. Favorite NBA player?
Oh, LeBron James. Easy.
Favorite WNBA player?
Skylar Diggins.
Who wins this year's NBA Finals?
I'm hoping the Lakers. If it's not the Lakers, we got to have a Nuggets Sixers matchup.
All right. Up 3, late game. Foul or no foul?
No foul.
Favorite practice drill?
I love a good 3 stops in a row on defense.
I love it. I love it. All right. Best book you've read this year?
Rich Man Poor Man.
Favorite basketball movie?
Coach Carter.
Favorite part of coaching?
I really like seeing like how happy a kid is when they've improved throughout the year. Like that's a big thing for me.
Best food in Atlanta?
Lemon pepper wings.
And favorite thing to unwind outside of coaching?
Video editing.
I love it. All right, Chase, you killed it, man. But, let's just kind of finish up with what's the goal? Tell us, where can we expect to see, what can we expect to see from Chase Crawford in the next 5 to 10 years?
Now, if you'd asked me that question last year, I would have told you a straight shot answer, but I realized there's 2 things. Where I will be and where I'd like to be. Where I will be in the next 5 to 10 years is wherever God wants me to be. That's one thing I've learned is that, you can write your own path. Where God wants you to be is where you need to be and where you're going to have the most impact for that set time. Where I would like to be, if I could write my own script and just go through all of that, is, I'd like to be coaching at a high level and continuing to see, like, I want to see a great impact in the kids that I'm working with, whether that's on the court and off the court, and just helping them develop into good young men. I think that's a truly rewarding experience. So it's good to see. Like, I was fortunate to coach, in addition to being a varsity assistant, I was fortunate to coach 5th and 8th grade teams because it's a K through 12 school. So head coach of 5th and 8th grade, and really getting to see, the impact you can have on these guys and these kids. I think that's something that's really important, and the role model that you're supposed to be in those positions. So that's something that I don't take lightly, and I've been very fortunate and blessed to be in.
That's really big time stuff, Chase. Thanks for hopping on, man. We really appreciate having you as a part of Member Spotlight. I want to thank everybody else for tuning in and listening to Chase's story. Make sure you head on over to risingcoaches.com. Check out Rising Coaches on social media. They got a lot of great things going on right now. But most importantly, this month, using promo code May 2023 for just $8 a month, you can become a part of the biggest coaching tree in basketball. Head on over to risingcoaches.com for more relationships, development, and opportunities. And tune in next week for another episode of Member Spotlight. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Brandt.